to reduce the friction. Okay, so how to reduce the friction means, as you know that in some times and all friction have advantage, in some times and all friction have a disadvantages also. So for example, what is the thing, friction advantage means, for example, if you are using that running shoes. Okay, so running shoes means the running shoes and all having that spikes, right? Spikes, so when you are running at faster means, so it can prevent the fall of yourself. Okay, so the running shoes are very good example for that, what's called advantage of friction. And what is the thing is, second way also, um, for example, yes, the tractor and even some vehicles wheels and all, tractor wheels and all, it will be like a threaded manner, the wheels and all like a threaded manner. So it can provide easy grip to the road. So that means even though if you apply the brake, so it can stop, right? So we can stop at whatever we desire. Okay, so this is the ways, these are the some ways I said how to, what's called, what are the advantages to increase the friction. Well, increasing the friction, there will be some advantages, no? So that one I said. Okay, so how to reduce the friction means, for example, how to reduce the friction, first you have to provide that lubricating oil, right? Lubricating oil, like a grease or whatever it is. Even if you are, what's called, if you are driving any two-wheelers or four-wheelers, in the petrol bunk, so they've put some kind of oil, right? So to avoid that engine friction. Okay, because if the friction gets developed more means the engine gets very hot. Okay, so it can reduce the efficiency of that engine. So that for that only they have to put oil. So to reduce the friction, it is very important. So not only in that vehicles which is two-wheeler or four-wheeler, even that what's called aircraft or whatever it is, so any sophisticated machine also, so it needs some oil to reduce the friction. Okay, so actually, you know one thing, we cannot avoid that friction. Okay, so friction is we cannot avoid entirely. So that only they said, ideally 100% machine, 100% machine we cannot make. So there will be some efficiency drop will be there. Okay, so even if you consider any object, any electric device, whatever it is, even the mixie, or whatever it is, when it is running at a long time, it can produce heat. So how it will be producing heat means due to the friction developed by that object. For example, if the fan is running nearly 10 to 12 hours means, so when you are touching that fan, it looks like a lot of heat, right, developed by the fan. And even if you are using the mobile also, for example, if you are holding the camera for a long time, or if you are taking the video for a long time, so you may feel some warmness in your mobile. Okay, because whichever the electrical devices it can runs, so that times there will be some frictional force developed. Even it may be that colliding of charger particles or whatever it is, so there will be some frictional force developed. That frictional force can develop the heat of that object. Okay, students, and these are the some ways how to increase and how to reduce the friction. Friction is a evil, or whatever it is. Okay, and these are the topics I covered in that friction lesson. Okay, so friction basic definition, and types of friction, and how it will be, what are the factors influencing on the friction. Okay, so these are the things I said, and how to increase, how to decrease the friction. And liquid, or what's called, fluid can exert the friction or not. Okay, fluid can exert the friction, so that's a major topic. Fluid can exert the friction or not. Yes, so fluid can exert the friction, because if you are taking your hand and inside that any bathtub or whatever, any container which is filled with water means, so you may feel some frictional force, some force will be try to stop your hand. Okay, so that is caused frictional force developed by that fluid. It may be a liquid or gas, whatever it is. So always that there will be some opposing force will be developed. Okay, so these are the things we discussed in that friction lesson. So we will come to that sound lesson. Okay, so sound means, first you have to know that vibration of an object. Okay, so vibrating particles are vibrating, vibration object, so vibrating particles can create sound. Okay, Okay, so whenever there will be a noise or there will be a sound or whatever it is, there will be some vibration. If there is no vibration means it cannot reach to our ear. Okay, so first sound, vibrating particles can produce a sound. So for that they give some various activities, right? For example, if you have take a pan and just use the metal rim or whatever it is, just strike it, you may feel that sound, right? And then if you take that different levels of water in the glass tumbler, and if you hit it continuously means you can feel some different notes, right? Different music. Okay, and these are the things I said in that sound lesson. And one more thing is, how can we hear the sound actually? How can we hear the sound? So how can we hear the sound? This is one thing. So our ear and all, our ear consists of some ear drum. Okay, so ear drum is there. It's a like of sheet like present. Okay, in the like balloon sheet like. So when any particles gets disturbed, or when any atoms are collided, so that time it will reach to our ear through the vibrations. Okay, that vibration can reach by because of that eardrum. So that eardrum get vibrated because of that various particles movement. So that eardrum will feel that vibration and will send to that signal through the cochlea. Cochlea is nothing but it's what's called a small organ which is present inside that ear. Okay, and through that ear, so there will be some that sound signals and all, it will be given to that electrical signal. Okay, so that electric sparks given to that brain, so the brain will what's called brain will judge that who is speaking or which kind of noise or which kind of sound, whatever it is. Okay, so this is the way we can hear the sound. Even if you are looking that the person will be hearing impairment means there will be some eardrum fault or whatever. Okay, eardrum fault and cochlea, it's not properly sending that signals and all. So these are the basic things. How can we hear that sound? Okay, and how can we speak? So that is a major topic. So how can we speak? So first one, you have to know that, so whenever you are speaking, you may feel that vibrations. Okay, so if you touch on your throat means there will be some what's called some bulged area will be present, a small bulged area. So that is called in generally that's called Adam's apple, they said. But anyway, that is see here, that is called as voice box. Okay, so voice box which is present in that that windpipe. Okay, that pipe is called larynx. Okay, that entire the pipe is going, no, that is called larynx. But that particular part is called in that larynx is called voice box. Okay, so in that voice box it is like what's called like stretched membrane will be present to voice box, like through that narrow slit is present. So through that only that sound and all going. Okay, when you sound and all going, and even that the lungs also expanding, no, so for that also that expansion waves and all, it will be going through that narrow slit only. So when the particles are going through that narrow slit means it can produce a lot of sound. Okay, so you may feel that vibration, that voice box gets vibrated whenever you speak, because in a fraction of second you have to suck the air, right? In the fraction of second you have to suck the air, and through that narrow slit the air and all like lightly compressed. So it will compressed means it automatically gets vibrated. So you may feel that sound, right, through that vibration. Okay, so we can feel some vibration, we cannot feel some vibrations and all, but anyway vibration can cause that producing a sound. Okay, so and then I said that characteristics of sound. So what are the characteristics of sound? So I said first one, frequency. Okay, so frequency means what is the frequency? So if you have take a stone and if you throw in the water means you may see that some kind of wave pattern will be present. Okay, so and even if you consider in your previous year you studied about that simple pendulum. So simple pendulum, it will make some oscillation, right? So the frequency is nothing but that number of oscillation, okay, number of oscillation produced in 1 second, number of oscillation produced per second is called frequency. Okay, so generally frequency is said that hertz, the unit of frequency is hertz, the number of oscillation produced per unit second. Okay, that is called frequency. And the next thing is, what is that oscillation? Generally you have to know what is that oscillation. Oscillation is nothing but there is a to and fro motion. Okay, so forward and backward motion, that is called oscillation. Okay, and what is that time period? We have seen that time period. For one oscillation, how much time it takes? Okay, for one oscillation, how much time it takes, that is that time period. Okay students, and time period and frequency, they can said that this is one famous formula. Okay, frequency which is equal to 1 by t. This is the relation of frequency and time period. Okay, so maybe I can ask some numericals based on the frequency equal to 1 by time t. Capital T represent time period and small f represent frequency. Okay, and then what are the things we have studied? Yes, amplitude. So amplitude means what? So amplitude means see one thing students, it's a maximum displacement. Okay, when the particle gets vibrated, so what is that maximum displacement from the mean position, that is called amplitude. So if you look at the graph, okay, that what is the thing here, time period, maybe frequency, okay, or whatever it is. Okay, if you look at the graph means, okay, so it will go this kind of, okay, the graph will go this kind of. So this maximum height, no, so from the mean position, this is called mean position. Okay, the x-axis. So from the mean position, the maximum height displaced by that object is called amplitude. Okay, this is called amplitude, and this is the maximum position, and here it is, here it is also going. Okay, like wave like it is going, and between these two amplitude, that is called wavelength. Okay, so between these two waves, that name it is called wavelength. Okay, so wavelength. Okay, so this is, you have to know students. So what is my wavelength and amplitude? So these are things you have to know. And generally that frequency means, I said number of oscillations produced per second, but frequency, with the help of frequency we have to denote as pitch voice, high pitch voice, low pitch voice. If the frequency level will be very closer, that is called, for example, the wave is going this kind of very closer, in between the two waves, that distance will be very less means, okay, so that is called high pitch voice. Okay, high pitch or whatever it, okay, high pitch. And low pitch means, what is that low pitch? So low pitch means the distance between these two waves are comparatively less, not less, high. Okay, sorry, comparatively high from the previous one. So this is called a low pitch voice. Okay, so the frequency will determine that whether it's a high pitch voice or low pitch voice. So in what's called girls and all, they are making that high pitch voice. Okay, their frequency interval level will be very less. Okay, so girls and all, high frequency voice can developed by that girls or ladies. Okay, and low frequency, actually generally low frequency, so it will be produced by that what's called that boys, men's, okay, men's and all, and boys. Okay, so they are all producing that low frequency. And you know one thing, that men's and all, they are producing that that here what's called, they are producing low frequency, but the loudness level will be very high, the voice will be louder. Okay, the voice Jen's voice will be louder. Okay, so that thing you have to know, students. And these are the things I said, the properties, and the noise pollution I covered. Okay, so noise pollution is very important, and the audible frequency, inaudible frequency, and infrasonic, ultrasonic. So these are the things so far I have discussed, students. So please take your book and revise the 2 lesson. Actually, I want to start that new lesson today, but anyway, PA2 exam is next week. It is going to come now, so that is why I'm trying to revise these 2 concepts, the 2 chapters. Okay, it will be very helpful for your PA2 exam. Okay, students. So after that PA2 exam, I want to start that the first lesson. Okay, students. I hope you all understand. So thank you all. So please read for your PA2 exam and score high. So all the best for yours. Okay, students, so today these are the things so far we have discussed, and I hope you can understand. And after PA2 exam, I'm going to start that new lesson. So until, you have to please prepare for your PA2 exam. So thank you all. Thank you. We will meet in the next session. Thank you.